Hello, mad heathens! I have a limited time frame to do this, so I'm pretty determined to sort of do this in one take and with minimal editing and stuff, because seriously, any extra time I spend on this is going to come out of my sleep. So, yeah, let's get on to it. So, what would life be like if the decision were up to me? Well, I'd like to start with one of the things that I mentioned in the topic question video, which was about immortality. And I mentioned, if people were going to be immortal, in what sense would they be immortal? Would they either, would either something prevent them from dying, or would they just be hypothetically immortal and everybody would eventually just die from accidents, right? So, I'm going with the first option, because I, would rather not cease to exist, despite some, there's been discussions about that, but there's an interesting way that I want to not cease to exist. And first of all, in terms of something preventing me from dying, rather than, if I was to, be plunged into water and, lose my, basically, if I was going to drown, rather than being kept alive and just keeping on suffering through the pain for years until somebody dug me up from the ocean floor or whatever it was, instead I'd like to go, and I think this is perhaps one of the only reasonable ways of resolving this this problem, if you want to live forever but you don't want to just be hypothetically immortal or something like that, is basically to have a form of reincarnation. And to that end, it's not just reincarnation in the same world, basically, rather than just being reincarnated into the same world. Instead, I'd like to experience all kinds of different worlds, and so that kind of, some of you guys may think this is a bit of a cop-out when it comes to these things, that I'm not really going to answer a lot of these questions because I just want to experience all kinds of different possibilities, but yeah, that's what I would like. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I would like to see more discussion on this with what I'm about to suggest, but I think the channel will move on to another topic. I believe Max is looking to ask the next question, and so I'm happy for him to do that, and I'd really like the channel to get it moving a little bit quicker, and I don't think it's going to do that if we stay with this topic, so I think that's what's going to happen. Like I said, I'd like this discussion to continue if possible, anyway. So yeah, one of the things I'd like to see happen, or perhaps experiment, sort of toying with the idea that there would be some kind of God figure overseeing this sort of stuff, but I'm not quite sure about that. But I would be interested in seeing perhaps a sort of subset of these parallel universes where people get reincarnated into them, where you have a sort of evolution of these parallel universes. So say you have a fixed population of these parallel universes, and they have some mechanism of growing and dying, and their reproductive success is based on the happiness and the satisfaction and the fulfillment. That was the word I was looking for. The happiness, satisfaction, and the fulfillment that people find in their lives. I would like the reproductive success to be based on that, which is why I'm thinking about some kind of godlike figure, perhaps to assess those qualities. Not a god in the sense of, just this all-loving, caring being, but I don't know, some kind of, because it has to be, I don't know, I'm not sure how you would, because they're subjective things as well, so it makes it difficult. So I don't know, ideally it'd be better if there were objective, mathematical measures of those things and just say that the system just mechanically works like that, but, perhaps not. I'd also like to see, because I'm kind of resistant to the whole idea of a God sort of mediating this sort of thing, of having people that take on the role, they're old and experienced and have been through different worlds, and take on a role of creating and designing these realities. That would be cool as well. I will touch on some of these things. The life cycle, I think, like Max said, I prefer, you get to be born and you get to be a kid and experience the joy of learning. But once you get to an adult stage, I wouldn't like to see people age past that. You certainly get to age and maturity and, your brain function and stuff like that, but you're not going to lose your brain function and your fitness and health and that sort of thing. I think that's really unnecessary, and from what I know of biology, that is really only in place to control population because you're useless after you are reproductive and that sort of thing. One problem with so I'd like to, I would have a preference for the sort of hypothetical immortality inside universes that, like if you just count the whole reincarnation thing, or really, if you just replace reincarnation with death for a moment, I would like to see hypothetical immortality, in that you only die/reincarnate when you manage to die of an accident, which may be after thousands or millions of years, or however long people manage to live without managing to die. This does, however, bring a problem of population, and I actually think that this could be solved. If we have, there are no limits to what we can postulate here. But basically, if you could just have an ever-expanding, if you say we have like a sort of flat Earth environment type thing, and just as the population expands, it just extends further and further out. And so I don't want to postulate an infinite landscape, because that could pose contradictions if you got into physics and that sort of thing. But I'm pretty sure it's pretty safe if basically, as far as people go out, the landscape just extends as people go out, and so you can't, so it's never actually infinite, but people can't actually observe the difference. I'd like to see a world of peace. I'd like to experience Max's idea about a basically global worldwide city. I'm not so sure about James/Origin's idea about, he's just weird. Yeah, I think I'll pass on that, sorry. Yeah. What haven't I touched on here? Physics, I think I'd like to see that basically stay the same. I think maybe, like I referred to about being able to change gravity, if there was some technology that allowed that, that would be cool. Actually, there is one thing I would, and this is actually a sort of combination of technology and physics. I would like there to be a robust mechanism for basically instant communication. So basically, like, we can have a zero latency internet, or minuscule, negligible, not noticeable latency internet. I would really like to experience a world like that, where the communication possibilities are just like, there are no problems communicating with anyone. You can just do that. But interesting, I would actually also be interested in experiencing a world of the exact opposite. Because one of the things I was thinking about was experiencing a less connected society, where you were more, because I think you can be more connected to those around you if you are less connected to the entire world. And so while I would like to have really sophisticated technology in this one hypothetical world, I would like to at the same time experience a world where there wasn't so much communication. And I think one of the ways that this could happen is if in this universe you could still communicate, but you would have severe latency problems, where, say, information can only travel at, say, maybe the speed of a plane or maybe the speed of a car, that sort of thing, so that you can't get information from one place to another. And so these places, they're more independent, and you have to rely more on the people around you, and you get more sort of interesting things happen as trends spread from place to place, and you go to different places and get to experience great new things that you haven't already, looked up online and seen on TV. I think one of the things, we get so desensitized about things because we see it on TV or on the internet or whatever, like we see the most incredible stuff, and it desensitizes us to when we actually go out and experience things. So I'd like to live in a world like that. One of the things as well that I think is important that I've neglected to mention so far is with these whole parallel universes things and being reincarnated and stuff. I think one of the good things to have is, basically I think you would or should lose all or most of your memory when you're reincarnated, but to maintain a sense of identity and to get to benefit from this sort of unlimited building of knowledge sort of possibility is every so often if you could experience a lifetime where you had access to all of the memories that you had before, and maintain a persistent connection with certain people that you would maintain across different lives. I think that would be very valuable as well. I think that just about sums up my response. I hope I've only got a few editing points in here because I have to go to bed. I really do want to mention some things about the way this channel is going though. I'm optimistic about how we're going. Unfortunately, we had a couple of people that I don't want to speak too much about them because I don't want to tread on their toes, but they should be joining us later on. But I think we are also quite open to having other people join this channel. And the way in which I would like you guys, if you or anybody out there is interested in joining, the way you would sort of audition and sort of move towards, being a member of this project, is to submit video responses just on your own channel, but pretty much as if you were already on this channel. And so, yeah, that'll be really great, contributing to our discussion even if you don't join, and if you do join, that'll give us a really good idea of what you're capable of and what it would be like having you on board. I also really want to mention the channel page and the moderator module that we've got up on there. There's the suggestions box basically for topics and stuff. Basically the question videos, it's about submitting topics and ideas to doing those. I think the question is just, what should we talk about? It's one of the key ideas that I have for this time around with working with this project. So we've only had, a couple of people look through those and submit ideas. So I'd really like to see more activity on there. So if you could do that, that would be really helpful. I think that's going to be it. I hope this video isn't too long or too boring. Yeah, peace out.